Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And it's just started to rain, so I'm going to try to get this through pretty quickly. But the audio and video that you are seeing and hearing are coming directly from the Argus 4 Pro Plus. Isn't that pretty impressive? You know what though? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. Our Argus 4 Pro Plus is unboxed. And of course, the first thing we notice is this gigantic solar panel. It's about the size of an iPad. Plus, we have right here in the middle our camera itself. We have a couple different mounting hardware, and that's one for the solar panel, one for the camera. Of course, here's our directions. There's some charging cords, a whole lot of stuff. Let's tear into the directions and start setting this up. First impression, first and foremost, it's a pretty good sized camera. I do appreciate the weight. You can see our two different cameras here. We have some spotlights in the middle and on the ends. We have what's known as a daylight sensor. Of course, there's a PIR sensor. This thing is fully loaded. Underneath here, we can have a micro USB card that goes in there. And of course, we have our charging port on the back. In reading through the directions, they tell us to charge this up before we use it, so I'm going to do that now. But the cool thing is we have our solar panel that's going to keep this charged all the time. We have just plugged that in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our phone out. Oh, what's happening here?
Welcome to REOLINK.
Cool.
Please install REOLINK app and scan the QR code on the camera.
So I ended up having to shut it off. I just held down the power button there for about 8 seconds and it shut off because it just kept giving me the welcome message in about 10 different languages. What I'm gonna do now though is I'm gonna actually download the REOLINK app. We're gonna scan the QR code on the back of our camera to officially set this up. All right, we've got it turned back on. We have the app rolling. We're gonna hit next. We've heard the voice prompt. Let's hit next. Only this time, it's okay. We're gonna allow it. Our phone is now close to the camera itself. Now, you can hook this up to your Wi-Fi, and as you can see, it connects to both 5 gigahertz and 2.4. That's pretty cool. We've been told now that we have been hooked up right to our camera, and it wants us to set up a device passcode just for this device, and I guess that's if you're going to be sharing it or wanting access, so make sure to keep this private. Now that we have our password installed, this is naming our device. I'm just going to leave it as the Argus 4 Pro right now until I decide where I'm going to permanently mount it. Let's hit next. We talked about this earlier, and this is a battery-operated camera, but we have that awesome solar panel, but it does want you to make a little note that you can run down the battery if you're doing excessive recording. We understand that. Let's hit next. And we can now hit finish. We have officially set up our Argus 4 Pro Plus. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this charging, and then we're going to set it up outside officially when it's done charging. I want to talk a little bit more about the specs. Retail price for this will be right around $220. I will say I was really excited about the two cameras, right? Because they're both 4K, but if you notice they're looking towards either side. This camera is actually going to give you a 180-degree view. That is pretty impressive. We've seen some cameras in the past that will pan and tilt and only gets what it's actually looking at. This will catch everything in 180 degrees. We are all charged up and it's time to mount our REOLINK. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the mount for the camera. This is actually the mount for the camera. The other one we showed you, this one right here, is for the solar panel itself. We've all seen mounts that have utilized these templates right here, and you just screw this up against the wall and you hook your camera up to it. But that's not what we're going to do. REOLINK has actually included a strap that you can use to install this around a tree or pole or whatever. I think that's really cool because the portability just went way up. Let's set it up that way. First thing we're going to do is we're actually going to unscrew the top from the base because we need to separate it so we can screw in the attachment for the strap. We'll put that part aside. I should say that the strap is 25.5 inches long. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook this to the back here. So it takes a little bit of assembly, right? Then they have this backing piece that you stick right on there, and that allows your strap to still move. From there, we're going to turn it over because we have to put our screws in right through these two spots. And they're just these little tiny screws. They're small but squatty. So we're going to drop those in the holes and then screw them down. We're just connecting that base piece that we saw to the bottom here. All right, now that we're tight, we can see that there it is. We have our strap in place. Of course, now we have to reassemble this entire fixture, making sure all of our pieces are aligned. And we're going to screw this in the back of our camera and go set it up on a pole. Now we have our camera strapped to a pole. I do think that's super cool. I will be installing the solar panel maybe on the other pole just so it can also connect, but I love that we have the flexibility for our install. I wanted to show you now that we're set up the complete view of what you'll see, that 180-degree span in full 4K. I love that I can see all the way over to my garage and shed and all the way over to the left field. That is super awesome. Now we're going to set up the mounting hardware for the solar panel itself. So I have the arm, and then we also need this piece right here and a screw, actually 3 screws. I find it easiest to put the strap on before I put the hardware on. You can fish it through, but this just makes it a little easier because it's already there. Now that our 3 screws are in, we can attach this to the back of our solar panel. Just like that, we are all done, ready to go strap this to a pole or a tree or whatever. This is what my mount looks like of the solar panel. I should say that it is a 6-watt solar panel. It's about 7 inches by 8.25 inches. As with all solar panels, well, you need the sun in order to charge a device. Right here, I have sun for about a half a day, so ideally, it'd be better if you had it on a location where you can adjust that panel to have the sun all day to maximize your charging. I will say, however, for the few hours I have in the day, at the end of the day, this thing really soaks up the sun. It's really high visibility, so for me, this works out. You should also note that on days when high sun, you're gonna get great charging, but days when it's overcast or cloudy or even rainy, the charging is significantly reduced. So, tell me, what are your thoughts of this camera? Something you would recommend, not so much? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear. There's a few key features right here in the app that I wanted to go over. I'm not going to review everything from the app, but just a few things. One is you can see this little tiny flashlight at the top. If you click on that, it actually turns the light on the camera, and then of course you can click it yet again to turn it off. Now we're going to hit the gear icon, and we're going to scroll down to where it says display. In display, you're actually going to see your video, but what I want you to do is look down here where it says privacy mask. You can actually block off areas that you do not want the camera picking up, and therefore that's the privacy part. I really think that's a cool feature for this camera. I'm showing you a side-by-side comparison of the night vision. Of course, one has the floodlights, and that is definitely the one that is brighter. You can see left to right, the full 180 degrees is well illuminated. The other one is the color night vision, and that actually uses ambient lighting. It's actually 9:30 at night right now. The sky is dark and stars are in the sky, but you can actually see me pretty well utilizing both the color night vision and the floodlight night vision. In this video, we are looking at REOLINK's Argus 4 Pro Plus with solar panels. So what do we think of it? First things first, let's talk about that price point. It ranges anywhere from $177 to $220 depending on any of the deals or savings that they have to offer. I love having the 180-degree view. By utilizing 2 cameras, you have almost a seamless view of your entire area. That is pretty cool. This is Google and Alexa compatible. Plus, if you have the Home Hub, you can hook this right up to the Home Hub and save all of your video right to your hard drive. Although I didn't really mention it, does have 2-way communication options. So there's a mic and a speaker on the camera. And so therefore, if you're not there and your camera triggers, you can actually communicate with whomever might have come in view of that camera. That is a pretty convenient feature. Security is an important part of today's modern world, right? And so I really like that these cameras can cover a wide variety of areas. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.